Hello everyone and welcome back to Closets Gaming. Today we're gonna take a look at another news story, and for once it's actually a positive story for gaming, as another school shooting that was supposed to happen has been prevented, in part thanks to Fortnite. So yeah, let's take a look at the story. This story is coming from GameRant and has been written by Dalton Cooper. As we have a student from Parkland who admits that he has been planning a school shooting while he was playing Fortnite with his friend. And thankfully his friend submitted the story to some authorities and the shooting didn't take place because of this. So now, finally, we have something we can show those people who think that video games are the cause of violence in schools, and very often gaming is blamed for school shootings, sadly, that, yeah, games can actually be a part of preventing school shootings. So, yeah, let's take a look at the story in more detail. So, this happened in a middle school at West Glades Middle School, where one of the students threatened to bring a gun to the school and kill another 13-year-old boy named Spencer. The shooter, or the one who wanted to be a shooter, admitted his plans to a third student while they were playing Fortnite together. The student recorded the threat, uploaded it to YouTube, and alerted the Spencers. Obviously, the video is no longer available, as, yeah, that's fairly obvious why this thing was removed from all social media. But, yeah, the Spencer family went to the authorities to report the threat. That was investigated, and somehow, I really don't understand how, but this thing just baffles me. This thing was considered a low-level threat. What? You have a video admission of a person saying, "I'm gonna go kill somebody." That's a low-level threat? What's a high-level threat? Somebody being in the school and somebody calling the police that there's a guy here with a gun. No, I don't get it. Well, obviously, a family was really not pleased with the decision to consider this a low-level threat. So they contacted their attorney, who then sent a letter to the school, who then criticizing it for not removing the dangerous student from the school. He said in the letter, "The only low level here is the incompetence of a school with how to deal with students posting threats on social media in the aftermath of a horrible tragedy," because this actually happened after the Parkland shooting. Luckily, then things got taken a bit more seriously. Nothing really happened because, yeah, that's just a good thing. But mostly this just gives us, well, forgive me the pun, ammo to use against people who blame video games for violence at schools, in public, just violence in kids, mostly. Because there have been so many studies over past years that show that violence isn't caused by gaming, nor is the I can't say that. Nor are people less sensitive to violence because of gaming. You could then actually argue for the same thing in TV, and you don't hear anybody complaining about the violence we see in TV and in theaters and wherever else. It's just games, and I know the reason. The reason is people don't understand the new form of media. But it's just a thing that we need to deal with until our generation grows up and actually becomes the old generation. Because then we will understand that, yeah, we played games all our lives. We aren't any more violent because of games. You will always have bad apples. You will always have people who will do violent things. It's just the nature of the human species, whether we like it or not. But we shouldn't try to blame this on anything else than usually bad education, bad social status. Very often these kids who commit these crimes are people who are being bullied, who don't get to socialize properly. They usually have some family problems. I don't think ever we had a case where the sole reason or the primary reason even for somebody committing a crime that was violent was video games. It just doesn't happen. And why? Because violence is not caused by video games. It's just not a thing. We need to understand the fact that games can actually be a positive force. And whenever there's anything positive to talk about gaming, whether it's gamers collecting a good sum of money for charity, whether it's gamers showing that they care about social problems, whether it's whatever actually, whether it's just something positive, I love to report on this. And I'm so glad I can report on this piece of news because, yes, this is exactly what we needed. The fact that you have a gamer who saw something bad happening and brought it to the attention of the proper authorities. Even though he posted it on social media, but he still at least alerted the family of the kid that was being threatened. That's more than the majority of us can say they would do in this situation. I'm pretty sure that 99% of us would just consider this an empty threat. Yes, I know the situation was a bit different because of the fact that the Parkland shooting took place just a little while before that, so everybody was sort of on edge. But if you hear somebody making a threat against somebody else, tell them, man, that's not cool, and tell the person who's being threatened. Because, let's face it, people sometimes do dumb things. And one of the dumb things they can do is hurt other people. Whether it's physically, emotionally, doesn't matter. But whenever you hear somebody threat somebody else, and you're not 100% sure it's a joke, make sure you actually report this. Because otherwise, people will just threat others, and eventually there will be somebody who means the threat seriously and then will hurt them. We need to prevent hurt, and we as gamers are such a large community. We have so much impact if we just take the time to actually do stuff. And we should take that time and actually make our community a great one, not a toxic one, as sadly it so often is. And with that being said, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the piece of news. Tell me what you think of the story in the comments. Tell me, do you think the low-level situation was fair? Do you think the police just thought it was a joke because it was a middle schooler? Or do you think they, well, screwed up? I personally think they screwed up. If you disagree with me, be sure to tell me in the comments. But also be sure to subscribe so you can disagree with me more often in the future and tell me why I'm wrong so I can hear more opinions. And if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like on it so it actually gets boosted in the algorithm. It actually helps a ton. See you guys later with more gaming content.